In a unanimous endorsement that signals the trust and confidence reposed in him by his counterparts, President Bola Tinubu emerged as the new chairman of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, at the 63rd Ordinary Session of the Authority of Heads of State and Government on Sunday. The president of Guinea-Bissau, President Tinubu, who is the latest entrant into the exclusive club of heads of states in West Africa, enthusiastically accepted the honor on behalf of Nigeria with a solemn pledge to bear the responsibility of the office and run an inclusive administration of the regional organizations. The Nigerian leader, however, warned that the threat to peace in the sub-region had reached an alarming proportion with terrorism and an emerging pattern of military takeover that now demand urgent and concerted actions. President Tinubu called for collective action from member states, pledging that under his leadership, frameworks would be harmonized to actualize the dreams of ECOWAS. To further this conversation with us is Dr. Dayo Kayode. He's joining us over the phone. Dr. Dayo, thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. It's my pleasure being with you this morning.
All right. Let us look at our president, Tinubu's emergence as ECOWAS chairman, the economic impact and the effect it's going to have on Nigeria as a country.
You see, the first way I will approach this is, how can you be the leader of a community that you are not yet familiar with? If I'm not wrong, this is going to be the first sitting Mr. Bola Tinubu will be having with ECOWAS. So what is his knowledge as regards the runnings of ECOWAS to have been made the chairman of that community? That is number one. Number two, you are the chairman of ECOWAS, and one of the tenets of ECOWAS is free trade. And when you're talking about free trade among community of nations, that means your borders must be open to every state member. Is our borders opened to every state member? That's another question. Another one is this. With the quantum of problems that we are yet to resolve in this country, is chairmanship of ECOWAS the next thing for any serious president to face the problem we are currently facing in Nigeria, or rather to tackle the current problems we are facing in Nigeria? Is chairmanship of ECOWAS the next thing? Again, I have searched through everywhere. I have not seen the extent to which a chairmanship of ECOWAS will solve our problems. I have not seen how that will bring absolute dividends of democracy to the people. I have not seen how that will remove the excruciating suffering that his first policy is inflicting on Nigerians. All this put together, honestly speaking, I just see that is the chairmanship as a way of trying to consolidate his leadership on Nigeria bearing in mind that the election that brought him in is still in the law courts. But then he now wants to say, okay, at least if you Nigerians are not accepting me, international community is accepting me.
Do you think that that you know kind of speaks positive of his person and of course his leadership abilities? I mean, the international community, the ECOWAS community, the office, I mean, the community of heads of states that make up this bloc, ECOWAS, thought that it is good. I mean, his leadership abilities. You do not see it as a point of trust in his ability to drive the policies and the things that make up the ECOWAS community. You do not see it as trust in his ability to drive this to the next level. I mean, for them to trust him with this office, seeing that he's the newest member of the bloc.
Exactly, that is what Mr. Tinubu is trying to prove. But then, if he's trying to prove that one to them outside the nation, the Nigerian courts will soon come up with their own verdict. Assuming in the nearest future, the court now nullifies its election. Don't you also think that is going to be a lot of embarrassment to we Nigerians? It's also going to be a big embarrassment to us, because presently now there are a lot of how do I put it now, infractions which opposition parties have put across to the court. Why 2023 election should not be seen as credible and hence nullified by the court. And court has accepted most of these submissions. So if at the end of the day, his election is being nullified, where do we stand as a nation? And what even ECOWAS has done, has indicated that, even from the past, has ECOWAS been a serious community? Ordinary for us to have a common currency. Have been a problem for us in all these days. So, for ECOWAS to have accepted him to lead that organization, honestly speaking, does not indicate that he is the leader that Nigeria is waiting for.
All right, Dr. Dayo, we saw the report by EU, especially with regards to the conduct of the last election in February 25. And of course, it wasn't in any way very encouraging. And of course, they mentioned a certain presidential candidate who was quoted to be someone who was leadership-centered and of course, issue-based when it comes to things that he focused on. Now, is this somewhat, as pundits say, especially looking at the chairmanship given to Bola Tinubu as a way to legitimize his government? That's number one. Number two, looking at it from the angle where you came from, where he presiding over ECOWAS state as the chairman, we do not have our borders open to other West African countries. And of course, he is not familiar with the way ECOWAS meeting is being held. Does that in any way guarantee that?
You see, number one, ECOWAS cannot, and I repeat, ECOWAS cannot, by any standard, legitimize anybody as a leader for our nation, because Nigeria is a sovereign state. Having said that, when you look at the reports of EU, yes, some people have been saying Nigeria is a sovereign state, which I have also said.